Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today's reaction is going to be on Aurelion Sol, the Star Forger. How my reactions usually work is I take a look at the biography and stories first, and then we move on to like any cinematics and check out their gameplay. We move on to the skins and the Fandom Wiki, and then we finally leave off with the voice lines and special interactions. Now, technically, I've already done a voice lines reaction to Aurelion Sol a few months back. You can check out that video, but we never fully dove into like his story, his full character, or anything like that. And we never actually looked at the special interactions. We just watched the voice lines video. So we are still going to do that and see if he has any Legends of Runeterra voice lines. All right, everybody, let's just dive right in. So Aurelion Sol, I know a little bit about him because of, we did the Necrit video to see power levels. We did a reaction to Zoe recently. And we kind of just know that he's like locked up right now in Targon. Other than that, I just know he's like a celestial being, and he's probably like the most powerful being in all of Runeterra. I know that's up to whoever kind of decides who they think is the most powerful, but anyways, let's just get into it before I start rambling. His quote here says, "Cower, worship, marvel, they are all appropriate responses." I think I actually remember this quote from the voice lines video I did a while back. All right, role is mage. Related champions, we have Soraka, Leona, and Diana, which I actually have not done a reaction to any of these characters yet because I know they are somewhat old or older, and I don't know if there's an actual like special interactions or voice line videos for these characters right now. So what I tend to do is I kind of want to stick with the ones that actually have like voice line videos for me to react to, and I don't know if these three actually have one. I'll have to look into it. Region, it just says Runeterra. Paragraph here says, Aurelion Sol once graced the vast emptiness of the celestial realm with wonders of his own devising, but was tricked by the aspects of Targon into revealing the secrets of a sun that he himself created. His awesome power was channeled into immortal god warriors to protect the apparently insignificant world of Runeterra. Now, desiring a return to his mastery of the cosmos, Aurelion Sol will drag the very stars from the sky if he must, in order to regain his freedom. Yeah, so I guess I'm going to be really curious to see at the end of the biography and the story where it kind of leaves off. And I know he's been like kind of a prisoner for a while now, but I don't know if there's any like inkling of an idea of him possibly escaping anytime soon. The appearance of a comet in the night sky is often said to portend upheaval and unrest. Under the auspices of such fiery harbingers, new empires rise, old cultures fall, and even the stars themselves may vanish from the heavens. The truth is perhaps more unsettling. The almighty being known as Aurelion Sol was already ancient before the rise of the mortal races of Runeterra. Born in the first breath of creation, he and those like him roamed the vast nothingness of a pristine celestial realm, seeking to fill this canvas of incalculable breadth with marvels whose twinkling spectra would bring fulfillment and delight to all who witnessed them. Yeah, so this is going to be like kind of a totally different, I feel like, reaction because we've reacted to demons, we've reacted to Darken, but this is a whole nother thing. As he wandered, Aurelion Sol seldom encountered any equals. The eternal aspects were dispassionate and incurious things, contributing little to existence, content only to compose amusingly self-centered philosophies on the nature of creation. But then, bathed in the light of a fairly unremarkable sun he had crafted eons earlier, he discovered something: a world, new realms. He did not know who had created this world or why, only that it had not been him. The aspects, who seemed unusually invested in it, implored him to come closer. There was life here, and magic, and fledgling civilizations that cried out for guidance from beings greater than themselves. Flattered by this new audience to his supreme majesty, Aurelion Sol descended to bask in their adulation in the form of a vast and terrible dragon from the stars. Okay, so he takes that form, right? The tiny inhabitants of the insignificant land of Targon named him for the golden light of the sun he had gifted them, and the aspects commanded them to bring forth a suitable offering in return. The mortals climbed to the peak of their tallest mountain and presented him with a splendorous crown, crafted with careful and cunning magic and etched with the inscrutable patterns of the celestial realm. From the moment it touched Aurelion Sol's brow, he knew this was no gift at all. The accursed thing clamped in place with unimaginable force, enough that even he could not remove it, and he could feel his knowledge of the sun and its creation being stolen and scrutinized by intelligences vastly inferior to his own. Worse still, the power of the crown hurled him back into the heavens and prevented him from getting any closer to that world again. So, is that what the goal was right off the bat? They were trying to steal knowledge, essentially? Instead, he was forced to watch as the duplicitous aspects of Targon set the mortals to work in the construction of a great gleaming disc. With this, they channeled his celestial power to raise up immortal god warriors for some unknown conflict that was apparently still to come. Well, okay, and then there's that, I guess. Outraged, Aurelion Sol could see other stars fading across the firmament for lack of care and maintenance, and he strained to break free of the crown's control. It was he who had birthed their light into the universe. Why must he be shackled now by the aspects and their lowly pawns? He roared with glee when the sun disk failed, only to see a second more powerful one take its place. Eventually resigned to his fate, he saw the god warriors cast down their rivals, then chittering creatures of pure darkness, and eventually each other. Okay, wait a minute. Let's dissect that a little bit. Resigned to his fate, he saw the god warriors, so aspects, cast down their rivals, and then chittering creatures of pure darkness, the void, and then eventually each other. Okay, got it. Then in little more than the blink of a star dragon's eye, the world was ravaged by a succession of sorcerous catastrophes, and Aurelion Sol finally knew that Targon and the hated aspects were all but defenseless. As he cautiously circled back, he realized the magic that bound him was weakening. Flecks of gold began to fall from his crown, each one blazing across the skies like a comet. Okay, I remember, like, I think this was mentioned to me, or maybe it's in his voice lines, but yeah, I know, like, the magic that is actually binding him is weakening. Driven by the tantalizing possibilities of freedom and revenge, Aurelion Sol now regards Runeterra with simmering eternal fury. Surely it is here upon this world that the cosmic balance will tip in his favor once more, and with it, the universe itself shall bear witness to the fate of those who dare steal the power of a Star Forger. Okay, so the way this is written, straight up just sounds like, okay, if Aurelion Sol becomes free, this dude's just gonna wreck all of Runeterra. The whole world is gonna be wrecked, right? I don't know if Riot will ever have it happen. If it does, maybe in the MMO 10 years from now or whenever it comes out, right? But that would be the only time, because I feel like if Aurelion Sol gets out, that's a major catastrophe. I'm using the word catastrophe loosely here, but that's a major event to happen in this world that would have like huge impacts. You know what first comes to mind? I think there was a World of Warcraft expansion called Cataclysm, I want to say, where like a dragon, I don't know the story. I just remember the World of Warcraft, like all of the landscape and everything and all the areas was like changed forever because of the event. I could definitely see something like that being in the MMO or just in general in our lore, right? All right, now we're taking a look at the story called Twin Dawns. This world's familiar sun still hides below the horizon. Crude and unpolished earth unfurls below. Mountains contort into barriers that stretch like fingers across empty scrublands. Palaces, or rather what pass for palaces, fail to loom over anything but the squattest of hills. The curvature of the planet meets the stars with the serenity and grace few of the dwellers below will ever witness. They are so scattered across the globe and grasp so blindly for any sort of understanding that it's no surprise they've been conquered and don't even comprehend their predicament. This first paragraph, because I know Aurelion Sol is just like a super sassy dude. He's kind of he's a celestial, so I get it. The fiery sheen I've gathered as a streak toward my preordained destination illuminates the world beneath me. Pockets of warring, fearful, rejoicing life tucks itself into any fertile nook it can find below. Oh, how they gaze and point as I streak over their heads. I've heard the names they call me: prophet, comet, monster, god, demon. So many names, all missing the mark. In a vast stretch of desert, I feel the twinge of familiar magic emanating from the seat of the premier civilization amongst these savages. Lo and behold, a massive sun disk is under construction. The poor enslaved laborers beat their heads and rend their clothes in my wake. Their cruel masters see me, a streaking bolt of fire, as a portent of good omen, no doubt. My passing will be etched in their uncouth pictograms upon common stone, an homage to the great comet, the blessing of the sky god gracing their holy works, and so forth. The disk's sole purpose is to funnel the sun's majesty into the most renowned of these fleshy humanoids, transforming them into exactly what this planet needs: more insufferable demigods. This effort will undoubtedly backfire, but I suppose they might last a brief while, perhaps 1,000 years or so, before they fall and are supplanted by others. I mean, that's kind of just, that's just kind of how the world works, I guess, right? The desert below fades into the night, trailing behind me as I streak onward across lonely steppes, then over rolling brown hills gently flecked with greenery. Pastoral scenery belies a field spattered with blood and littered with the dead and dying. Survivors hack away at each other with rough, hewn axes and scream battle cries. One side is losing quite badly. Stag skulls rest atop pikes stuck into the soil next to writhing warriors. The few still on their feet are encircled by soldiers riding great shaggy beasts. I feel like this is referencing a certain battle or certain sides here, but I'm not quite sure who it is. I had the inkling of thinking like Freljordians maybe, because they were riding some beasts or something, but I'm not quite sure. Those defeated, surrounded, few see me, and valiance seems to surge through their veins. The wounded rise and grasp their axes and bows in a final stand that throws their foes off guard. I don't linger to see the rest of the little clash play out because I've seen this scenario unfold 1,000 times. The survivors will scratch my comet likeness onto their cave walls. In 1,000 years, their descendants will fly my image on banners and undoubtedly ride into a tediously similar battle. For all their efforts to capture and record history, one ponders why they do not learn from their mistakes. That is a lesson even I have had to suffer. So, okay, this story that we're getting right now, we're just literally getting the inner thoughts of Aurelion Sol and kind of the inner thoughts of what a celestial being might think of humans, right? And just seeing them make the same mistakes over and over, something he sees us do all the time. And I mean, he could have a different mindset, 100%, but he basically is like, oh yeah, they're gonna see me flying by during this battle, and they're gonna write stories and put, you know, drawings on cave walls because I flew by. He's like, I've seen it before. It's happened many times already. So he's just kind of like sick of it, annoyed by it. I leave them to perpetuate their bleak cycle. See, I like that sentence there. That sentence, in my opinion, just kind of summarized what I just went on a little rant about. That is his whole thought process about, you know, viewing humans. My trajectory reveals more inhabitants. Their collective repertoire of reactions span the typical gamut: pointing, kneeling, sacrificing virgins upon stony altars. They look up and see a comet and never ask what lies beneath the blazing facade. Instead, they stamp it onto their own self-centered worldviews, muddying the splendor of my visage. The few more advanced life forms, and I use that description loosely, gaze up and jot down my coordinates in scientific almanacs instead of using me as prophecy fodder. Okay, see, this is an interesting take here. You know, he's saying the intelligent life forms among them, and I love how he calls it loosely. You know, they start writing this kind of stuff down instead of just, you know, using it as prophecy. It's mildly refreshing, but even their developing notions of intellect seems to indicate I am regularly appearing phenomenon with a predictable orbit. Oh, and the feats they could accomplish if only. Well, no use dwelling on the wasted potential of the simple-minded terrestrial born. It's not entirely their fault. Evolution does seem to have a difficult time gaining traction on this world. But alas, the novelty of such infantile antics has worn thin. The grasping energies of my magical bondage have dragged me from one paltry world to another for centuries. Now has led me back to this familiar and unpleasant rock. The star that floods its surface with light was one of my earliest creations, a confluence wrought of love and radiance. Ah, that cherished moment when she flared to life with colors only her creator could see. How I miss a star's crackling new energy warming my face and trickling through my fingers. Each star gives off a unique energy, precious and reflecting its creator's soul. They are cosmic snowflakes burning in defiance of the infinite dark. Wow, that's some deep stuff there. That's like a real good like description of his feelings whenever he creates a new star, right? Unfortunately, the memories I long to dwell upon are tainted by betrayal. Yes, this was the place where Targon lured me into servitude. But now is not the time to linger on past mistakes. Those musty aspects, want me to seal yet another breach, in their name, of course. Then I see her. This world's imbued warrior is alone at the peak of one of the smaller summits, brandishing a starstone spear. This world's imbued warrior. She watches me through a veil of annexed flesh, a mere spark masquerading as lightning. A thick braid of auburn hair is draped over her shoulder, falling over a golden breastplate that covers pale, freckled skin. Is this Leona? Her eyes, the only bit of her face not shielded by a battle-worn helmet, flash a jarring shade of red. She calls herself Pantheon. Oh, the warring fury of Targon incarnate. She is not the first of this world to wear the Pantheon mantle, nor will she be the last. Okay, I have questions there. Or is this just a female Pantheon from some unknown time? Her glittering cape flaps out behind her as she raises her muscled arm and makes a motion like she's pulling on a great chain. The tug on my crudely enchanted tether wrenches me off course toward the mountain upon which she stands, and she's yelling at me. She cries out with a voice that booms inside my head, transmitted through this insufferable star gem coronet. All sounds fade as she invades my mind. Dragon, she says, as if I'm a weak-winged beast of base orange flame, lucky if it can ignite a tree. Seal their gate, she commands, gesturing to the bottom of a rocky crevasse with her pointy little spear. I don't need to see the violet erosion of reality swirling below. I could smell the festering miasma that poisons this world before I even arrived. I fix my eyes on Pantheon instead. She expects me to fall in line like a dog on its leash. Today will be different, for I've learned from my mistakes. Okay, so now he's totally just gonna not help. Dragon, I purr, are you sure commanding me with such a low name is wise? Pantheon's grip on her spear loosens just enough for her to fumble the weapon for a fraction of a second. She takes a step back away from me as if single strides distance could protect her from my ire. Seal their gate, she says again, barking louder as if perhaps the previous command went unheard. Her volume does little to mask the quiver in her voice. She thrusts her spear towards me as if such a tiny weapon could pierce me. Okay, again, I remember saying this when I reacted to his voice lines. He has a massive ego, but he could be a little humble, but the dude, I mean, he created the star, the stars, and he, you know what I mean? Like, he's a celestial, so I kind of get where he's coming from, you know? Why should he be commanded to help these people or whatever? This is the first time I've ever seen an aspect of Targon shaken. She's not used to having to tell me twice. I will deal with those chittering horrors in due time, dear Pantheon. Okay, so the chittering horrors have to be voidborn, right? Or void people. Do as you are commanded, dragon, this Pantheon shouts, or this world is lost. This world was lost the moment Targon surrendered itself to arrogance. What a response. I feel Pantheon seething mingle with confusion as she struggles to grab hold of my immaterial reins. She's only now sensing what I have come to learn. Targon is distracted and does not sense its magic faintly ebbing from my bonds. Ah. Pantheon bellows once more, and this time I cannot resist. The crude enchantment regains sovereignty over my will. I turn my attention toward the source of the breach, nestled in the basin of the once verdant valley, now strangled with creeping purple miasma. I sense the void-born perversions of life tunneling through reality's firmament, sending tides of unseen energy coursing through the ether. They shred the veil that separates nothingness and form with their unwelcome passage. Okay, so right now, Targon, essentially all that's happening, Targon forcing Aurelion Sol against his will to eliminate some Voidborn because they're trying to attack Targon, yeah? You're drawn to me, those multi-eyed, carapaced abominations. They seek to devour me, the greatest of their threats. From the reaches of my mind, I conjure an image of the solar furnaces I kindled before my fettering, which once ignited the hearts of stars. I lance out beams of pure starfire and incinerate wave after wave of those gnashing horrors, driving them backward into their oblique infinity. Smoldering husks rain from the sky. I'm a little surprised they aren't wholly disintegrated, but then again, the Voidborn don't know how things work in this universe. A pulsing sickness lingers in the air. From the epicenter of the corruption, I feel a will, hungry and indomitable, and far from the typical mindlessness I'm accustomed to from those Voidborn aberrations. Oh, the pulsating wound on reality yawns and buckles, distorting and warping all it touches. Whatever exists on the other side is laughing. Okay, hold on. What is happening here? So wait a minute. A pulsing sickness lingers in the air from the epicenter of the corruption. And then whatever exists on the other side is laughing. Is that a Belveth thing or what's going on? Pantheon shouts another command at me, but I ignore her words. This anomalous fissure in the universe entrances me. This is not the first of its kind I've had to deal with, but this one feels different, and I can't help but admire the marvelously terrifying manipulation of the barriers between realms. Few beings could fathom its complexities, let alone possess the sheer magnitude of power needed to rend the fabric of existence. In my heart, I know a wound so exquisite could never be orchestrated by scuttling creatures. No, there must be more behind this intrusion. I shudder at the thought of what kind of entity is capable of inducing such a volatile rift. I don't need Pantheon's barked orders to tell me what to do next. Her array of requests has always been of a rather limited imagination anyway. She wants me to hurl a star at the rift, as if one can simply cauterize such moldering interdimensional abrasions and be done with it. Dude, I love, like, his snarkiness. It's so funny. These obtuse demigods are my captors. Yeah, even, like, he's like, God, I can't believe I got captured by these people. Fine, at least they're not too far off in their logic. By thinking a few searing cosmic wonders will remedy this problem, I will play the role of the obedient servant just a little while longer. I enjoy what I do next, partly because they'll remember it, partly because it feels good to let a little of the old power loose, but mostly because I wish to remind whatever intelligence that controls this void incursion that nobody laughs at me in my plane of existence, and nobody is italicized. Nobody laughs at him. The base elements in the atmosphere rallied my cause, accreting into a plasmic anomaly. The swelling stardust detonates at my unspoken command. The result is a dwarf replica of one of the majestic glories burning in the depths of space. After all, I can't fling a full-fledged star at this fragile world. The young star's shimmering brilliance flies from my hands, is joined by two sisters always by my side. Two sisters always by his side. They careen around me in a radiant ballet, their white hot cores devouring the gathering clouds of dust and matter I draw toward us. We become a storm of stars, the night sky incarnate, a maddening gyre of starfire. I conjure eddies of searing stardust, exhaling a heat so pure and dense it collapses the aura of this world just a tiny bit, forever marrying the planet's curvature. Dude, the description of like him doing this starfire, what are these two sisters always by his side too that he's like conjuring when he's doing this starfire? So he's literally creating a very small star to throw at this abrasion in the world, or in the ground, right? This is crazy description. Coruscating strands of stellar flame purrow from the center of the rift. Gravity melts in undulating waves of color most eyes will never be able to witness. My star's warp matter as more fuel coalesces into their cores, causing them to shine brighter, burn hotter. The whole spectacle is breathtaking, a cascading dance of blinding light and searing heat, so hot that for a fleeting moment, new spectra are birthed into existence. My spine tingles just a little bit at how good it feels. So he really, okay, totally, the thing that we are learning from Aurelion Sol, he loves stars. He loves like how breathtaking they are, how beautiful they are, and then he loves creating them and throwing them, right? Trees splinter, rivers evaporate, the mountain walls of the valley crumble in smoky avalanches. The tireless laborers erecting their sun disk, the soldiers taking the hill, the stargazers, the worshippers, the terrified, the doomsday prophets, the hopeless, the rising kings, all those who beheld the streaking comet with selfish eyes witnessed the ensuing supernova as an early dawn. Across this pitiful globe, my radiance turns darkest night to blinding day. What fictions will they conjure to explain this phenomenon? So he literally makes it seem like it's dawn because he makes it so bright in this whole like big area. Even my Targonian masters have rarely witnessed such a display of my power. Certainly no terrestrial world has ever borne scars as severe as what is left of that once verdant valley. When I am finished, nothing remains. Okay, so and this is happening all because something on the other side of this rift was laughing at him. Not even this incarnation of Pantheon, I can't say I'll miss her or her mindless barking. In the glowing aftermath of my carnage, the smoldering once mountains collapse into the molten rubble streams now flowing through the valley. This is the scar I have left upon this world. A surge of damning pain shoots through my body, radiating from that infernal crown. I am about to pay. My head snaps up and my eyes drink the bitter sight of a dying star. My heart's clasped shut, my mind's reel. An overwhelming sense of despair ricochets through my very soul, emanating from a deep and immediate sorrow, like the pulsing realization you've lost something precious and know it's all your fault. You know what actually is making more sense now that I'm reading this story is also how like descriptive and like there's a lot of descriptive words being used in this story because we're listening to his actual thoughts, and it makes sense that a celestial being would be like this thorough and descriptive with everything. Some curious life forms I met long ago once asked how it was possible for me to remember every star I've created. If only they could feel what it was like to create a single star, they would understand the sheer irrelevance of that question. That's how I know when even one of my darlings winks out from existence, ejecting jets of energy, and with it, the very substance of my own spirit. I see her death knell in the heavens above. She shines brightly one last time in a pyroclasm that momentarily drowns her brothers and sisters. My heart shatters as the heavens are diminished in brutal retribution for turning my power on one of Targon's own. A sun is the price of a single pantheon. This is the cost of my unfettered wrath. This is the kind of boorish sorcery I must deal with. Wow. Within seconds, they have regained control of my reins and call me to a new task. On no other world have I exhibited such a display of freedom, no matter how fleeting it was. What's more is that I have learned from their mistakes. A bit of me is free now, and in time, I will return to this world, tap into this mysterious well of energy, and cast off the rest of my tether. I tune into that essence of war, twisting and contorting within fleshy vessels scattered across the cosmos. It wasn't happy about losing its mortal avatar in this world. Already a new doomed host has been chosen to transform into the next iteration of Pantheon. A soldier from the Racker. Oh, there you go. That's our Pantheon, yeah? A tribe who cling to the base of Targon's mountain, siphoning off its power like barnacles. One day I shall meet this new incarnation of Pantheon. Perhaps he will learn to find a new weapon and abandon that ludicrous spear. I sense Pantheon's celestial kin scattered across the cosmos. In a single instance, all of their attention is focused on this world, where one of their earthly aspects was vaporized by their own weapon. Their confusion is mingled with a growing desperation as they contend with each other to regain their control over me. How I wish I could see their faces. As I launch myself from the gravity of this world, this Runeterra, I sense an emotion I have never felt from Targon before. Fear. Oh, what a way to end the story. So yeah, this dude straight up showed off his power in a tremendous way that he rarely shows ever. Kills the Pantheon, the current aspect of Pantheon, right? It gets replaced, but he just basically he puts fear into all of the Targonians, showing he's like, you guys aren't going to have control of me forever. Look at how powerful I actually am. You guys are not going to have control of me forever. Just, beware, essentially. So I mean, that even scares me, man. I don't know what's going to happen if Aurelion Sol becomes free. He does not like our world whatsoever. Maybe Zoe would be one to like talk him out of like getting revenge or something, because I know Zoe calls him, like little doggy and stuff. It's kind of funny. So we'll have to see what's going on with that in the future. I'm very curious what they're going to do with Aurelion Sol. I know he's probably a character that they are not touching very often, because touching this this champion lore-wise, it's got to be something pretty important or something pretty big for the world, right? All right, let's go ahead and move on to the rest of the stuff. All right, everybody, we're going to start first with the champion teaser that came out for him about 7 years ago, and then we'll do the one that just came out, I guess, like 7 months ago. I mean, how hype was this when people first saw this teaser?
What planet, no matter what,
I kind of want to know how, like, Riot led up to his release, you know?
Look up in wonder.
There we go. Okay, we see him.
Some fall to their knees and worship.
True.
Others hide behind walls and towers.
The change in his voice there, like the tone, that was incredible.
But the thing they do best,
There's his little star.
is beg for mercy.
Dude. Such a good character and such a good voice delivery.
It's just adorable.
So, I mean, off the bat, anybody would think this dude's a straight up villain. Yeah, that was incredible. I mean, I want to hear from you guys that were like around playing League of Legends then, and like how hyped this was, because that's like one of the better teasers in my opinion. And I know it's a little bit older, but still, that was like incredibly, that was insane. I mean, he seems really, really like, if you knew nothing about this character and that was the only thing you got, I'd be so hyped for this character. Okay, now we're going to do the champion update trailer. It was only 7 months ago that this came out. I had heard about it too. They like changed his abilities, right?
By my will, I filled it with wonder.
We still see him in the sky there. You can see the graphics are updated.
Mortals strive to
Okay, we got
construct their
Zon.
own adorably inadequate marvels.
Marvels in quotations.
But true power is only
Sun disk.
found in the cosmos.
Okay, here we go. We'll have to take a look at his abilities after this.
As you contain me.
Whoa, so he's got like a celestial beam,
Oh, that's right, you can't.
and he moves still at the same time.
Every crack your hold weakens. Every fracture.
Oh, and he like brings down a meteor or a star, I guess.
And while I long to
That's got to be an
return
ultimate. That looks insane.
stars, first I shall be unleashed.
Wow. Dang. Okay.
What's the matter, Targon? Losing.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that laugh is so good too. Okay, that's really exciting because, I mean, this is only a 7-month-old video, and we're talking about Targon losing the grip on, or the hold on Aurelion Sol, right? And this is only 7 months ago. So, like, you know, it's very recent, in my opinion, 7 months, and, like, the fact that we're mentioning how the Targon's grip is loosening on Aurelion Sol, they got to be building up to it, right? And who knows? Again, like I said earlier, like I could think of this as the World of Warcraft Cataclysm event where like a dragon just like ravaged all of World of Warcraft and changed the landscape. I could see that happening with Aurelion Sol or something. I don't know. We'll have to see when that happens. Okay, instead of watching the actual gameplay trailer that came out like 7 years ago, it would be old stuff anyways. I figure let's just take a look at his abilities. So difficulty is moderate and role is mage, right? So let's look at the passive. The passive is Cosmic Creator. Aurelion Sol's damaging abilities break down enemies into stacks of stardust, which permanently improves each of his abilities. Let's see what happens with that. So Breath of Light. So this is what we saw a lot of in the... You guys will have to actually let me know what abilities changed too in this latest update as well. But okay, we have the Breath of Light. Aurelion Sol channels his Dragon Breath for a few seconds, damaging the first enemy hit and splashing reduced damage onto nearby enemies. Each second the breath is channeled directly at an enemy will deal bonus damage, which is improved by the amount of stardust that's been collected. Okay, this ability collects stardust if the target is a champion. Next, we have Astral Flight. Okay, I'm looking at it over here. Aurelion Sol flies over terrain in a targeted direction. While in this state, he can cast other abilities. Breath of Light no longer has a cooldown or maximum channel duration and deals increased damage while flying. Oh. Astral Flight's remaining cooldown is reduced whenever an enemy champion dies after being recently damaged by Aurelion Sol. Okay, so if he kills somebody while he's like flying and damaging them, the cooldown is also reduced. And then Stardust increases Astral Flight's maximum range. Stardust is very important. Obviously, just damaging people and gaining Stardust is like his main thing. Okay. So then we have Singularity. Aurelion Sol, that's what we saw a little bit of. I'm assuming the ultimate's like the bigger version. I don't know. I kept seeing this ability though. Singularity, Aurelion Sol summons a black hole damaging enemies and slowly pulling them toward its center. This ability grants Stardust each time an enemy dies within the black hole, and for each second an enemy champion is caught inside it. The center of the black hole executes enemies who are below a certain percentage of their maximum health. Stardust increases Singularity's area as well as the execution threshold. Okay, so Stardust here, again, very important, increasing the area as well as the execution threshold. And the fact that it just straight up executes enemies who are below a certain percentage of their max health is pretty insane too. It looks like it's pretty small, and people might be able to dodge it if they're quick enough, or if they have like, you know, an ability up to dodge it, but still. Okay, and the ultimate, Falling Star, the Skies Descend. Falling Star, Aurelion Sol crashes a star into the earth. This impact deals magic damage and stuns enemies while also granting Stardust for each enemy champion it hits. Gathering enough Stardust transforms Aurelion Sol's next Falling Star into the Skies Descend. The Skies Descend is Aurelion Sol drags a giant star down from the heavens with an increased impact zone. Okay, so that's what we're seeing here. And increased damage, knocking up enemies rather than stunning them. A shockwave then spreads from the edge of the impact zone, which damages and slows the enemy as it hits. Stardust increases the impact area of both Falling Star and the Skies Descend. Wow, so you could get like a super massive Skies Descend here. I guess how impactful really is that? I mean, like, if you get it like in a big area or whatever, I mean, how impactful is it really going to be? Or is it really just, you know, wherever Aurelion Sol is actually doing it at, I guess is my question. I mean, okay, he seems, in my opinion, I mean, he's probably harder than he looks, but he doesn't seem like all that difficult to use, in my opinion. But obviously, you know, getting really, really good with all of these champs, obviously you're going to perfect them and make them even better. But overall, as like a starting person to League of Legends, I don't think he'd be too difficult to play, in my opinion. But I'm sure his role that he actually plays is probably pretty important. So, you know, it's not somebody that I would probably start off with. And again, guys, let me know what abilities were like swapped around or what changed, because I know he had an update just 7 months ago. Okay, now we're going to do his champion reveal for Legends of Runeterra. It looks like he might have been one of the original characters that came out when Runeterra came out. Oh, he's 10, man. Okay, so he has new keyword Invoke. He's a 10/10. Play, invoke a celestial card that costs 7 or more. Round start, create a random celestial card in hand. And round end, your allies have 20 plus total power. Okay. So he gets to just choose among, yeah. Okay. Fury, when I kill a unit, grant me +1/+1. Okay. Inviolus Fox. Inviolus Fox. Okay. 10/10 for 10, man. I mean, I guess it makes sense that he's a 10 mana Celestial. The Scourge. Now, these are the other Celestials, yeah, that we've learned a little bit about. Okay, so that was his level up. Pretty cool. He's an 11/11. Invoke a Celestial card that costs 7 or more still, and then round start, create a random Celestial card in hand. Your Celestial cards cost 0. The Destroyer. Yeah, the Celestial cards being 0. Yeah, good luck, I guess. So I imagine there was a Celestial deck somebody made early on when Aurelion Sol was out. I guess you guys will have to let me know if Aurelion Sol and Celestial cards are still really worth. I know with card games, metas change, decks change, power levels change, so. Okay. That was a pretty quick one. We're going to listen to his voice lines later in this reaction, so we're not too worried about that, but very nice. Okay, the one thing that did not get updated was the login screen. Now, I guess they probably didn't see a need to update the login screen when, you know, this one's probably fine, and they didn't need to with the ability update, because this probably, like I said, works just fine. So let's go ahead and listen. It's 3.5 minutes long, so it's kind of a longer one, but let's listen. I imagine some like space sounds and I don't know, maybe some electronic music going on here. That's what I think of for Aurelion Sol, I guess. Or some like techno, I guess. Yeah. Slowly building. I like the piano addition here as well. It's almost got like an ethereal vibe to it too. Oh, it's starting to get darker with the drums and the bass. Okay, what's the drop gonna be like? Or is it just gonna slowly build again? A little bit of like a slow build here. It sounds like, I mean, this sounds weird, but it sounds like space, kinda. What you'd see in like a sci-fi TV show or movie, or what you'd listen to or hear. I actually expected this to be like super dark or whatnot because of, you know, his personality. But it's actually not, surprisingly. Well, we're only halfway in. It's got some dark tonality with some of the bass and drums, though. Okay, I like this build up here. Yeah, the drums going real fast. Kind of like Tron music, it feels like to me, like from that the Tron movie that came out with Daft Punk. Okay, yeah, okay, this is the best part of the song so far. The second build is really good. It's like very epic. Ooh, you can hear a little bit of darkness in there. That's a very good end there. Still 45 seconds though. What else is left? Ooh, what is that there? That like, ooh. That was really interesting there at the end. All right, very cool. Yeah, this, like I said, it reminded me a little bit of like Tron, like Daft Punky kind of music, sci-fi music a little bit. I did expect, I saw little hints of like darker like bass or whatever to give his like sinister side off a little bit, but it was kind of more spacey and just ethereal and celestial, I guess, right? Which is what he is. But overall, very good. Riot kills it every time. It's not my favorite theme or anything like that. It is one of the older ones, and I think I've been tending to like some of the newer ones a little bit more, but this one was very good. I have no complaints. Wow, I'm gonna have to say I totally thought there would be way more Aurelion Sol skins. I've only seen 5 here on the wiki. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, his original form here is very good in my opinion, but I figured we'd see a lot more from a like celestial dragon who's like one of the most powerful characters in all of League. So I don't know. Let's go ahead and take a look. I'm not going to do a top 3. I'll probably just pick one, and you guys let me know what your favorite skin is though in the comments. So the original, like I said, it's very good, but let's see what we have next. What is this one called? It's called the Ashen Lord. Okay. This looks really cool. I'm trying to think of what it reminds me of. Almost like a Dark Souls boss, actually. The Pyromancer cultist unwisely summoned the god of fire and ruin, the Ashen Lord. It looks very good. I want to see... Oh, we don't have an in-game version. but the artwork is very cool for it. Okay, we have a mecha version of Aurelion Sol. I feel like I did not see that coming. It's pretty dope though. But the end game looks a little odd, I have to say. I don't know how I feel about the in-game version. Like, it looks cool if you're into like the whole mecha Gundam kind of skins, which I'm like neutral on, but I kind of like them. It depends who it is. This kind of looks weird to me. I don't know. I don't think it's my fave. Let's go on. We have Storm Dragon. Okay, he's got like a beard. He's all lightning and stuff. And then he's got like a bigger antlers and stuff, almost like that in this one. In game, see, it's pretty good. I don't know. Is this my favorite so far? I actually thought I'd like the Aurelion Sol skins a little bit more than I am so far. This one's, we'll see what the last one is. It might actually be Ashen Lord, even though we don't have a 3D model. That might be my fave so far. Last one is Ink Shadow. Okay, we've seen a couple of Ink Shadow skins. This one looks really good in the artwork. Let's see. Ooh, okay, hold on. The visor or whatever's going on here looks really weird. The crown looks cool. I don't like the visor. Why does it look like he's got like sunglasses on? Is that supposed to be how that is? Hold on, let me see. It doesn't look right in game. I feel like if we could see his eyes instead of whatever this little visor is, it'd be a little bit better because the crown is really cool and it looks better in my opinion than for sure like the mecha, because the mecha looks just really weird to me. I don't know. Guys, I'm going to go on a freaking oddball one here and I'm picking Ashen Lord, and that's probably only because we don't see the 3D model for it, at least on the fandom. I'm not going to go around looking for it, but this is that's going to be my top pick for the best skin for Aurelion Sol. You guys let me know what your favorite is. Again, I don't have any complaints about the mecha or the Storm Dragon or the Ink Shadow. They're just, they're okay. You know what I'm saying? They're okay for me, but you guys probably have a favorite one, so let me know. All right, and then I do want to check out the little trivia here. It says Aurelion Sol is one of the 14 champions that have an ability that infinitely stacks an effect. In Aurelion Sol's case, its Stardust stacks gained through Cosmic Creator permanently increases Breath of Light's bonus magic damage, Astral Flight's range, Singularity's outer and inner radius, and execution threshold. Yeah, basically just Stardust, you know, Stardust increases everything that he uses. So I'm assuming, was Stardust what he originally had when he first came out, or is Stardust the new thing for him? In Aurelion Sol, the Starforger returns. His hand gesture resembles the old Riot Games Inc. Fist intro. Right, that's true. A lot of his animations and visual effects were inspired by celestial objects and atoms. That makes sense. Aurelion Sol's lower body is not part of his in-game hitbox, which is why it is semi-transparent. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because he's like such a long character when he's actually like flying. It's really just like his upper half that is actually an in-game hitbox. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Fandom Wiki. All right, so now we're looking at the wiki, and a lot of the stuff up here is just like a recap of the biography, of the story we read. So we're not going to take a look. I want to see, so related characters, we have Soraka, Leona, Diana, Tarek, Pantheon, Zoe, and Bard. I haven't done anything with Tarek. Bard I know is another like all celestial being or whatever. We don't know very much about Bard. I know he's like a peacekeeper kind of, right? But besides that, we've only reacted to Pantheon and Zoe out of all those characters. So what we are going to start off with is we're going to start off with the return to Runeterra. It says Aurelion Sol has been called back to Runeterra, though it's unclear for what purpose. Moreover, he has summoned Invelius Vox to the planet to await the time when dragons across the universe shall descend upon Runeterra. Okay, appearance. While most cannot see or even comprehend his true form, Aurelion Sol takes the form of a cosmic dragon when not in the celestial realm. In this form, he is larger than even Mount Targon, Runeterra's tallest mountain. His skin is dark blue, resembling the color of deep space, and glistens with the light of stars. He glows in this form in light and dark shades of blue, and his head is white and sharp spikes resembling teeth around his mouth. What could be considered his hair is a deep purple and dark blue, and attached to his head is a golden crown. Right. Personality. Well, yeah, Aurelion Sol is an arrogant and prideful celestial being. He is angry at the aspects for imprisoning him and is determined to destroy Runeterra. He is impatient and irritable and is extremely dismissive of aspects apart from Zoe. Well, he's kind of dismissive of her, but he can't really do anything about it, I guess. And anybody that he sees as inferior to him. Made bitter by his imprisonment, perhaps the only thing that Aurelion Sol cares about are the stars he has created. Right. Abilities. So, Celestial Dragon Physiology. Aurelion Sol is a Celestial, an entity coming directly from the Celestial Realm. As a Celestial, Aurelion Sol does not possess a proper body and instead chooses to take the form of a dragon. So now, basically, I need to tell myself, the abilities we're reading here is the... I'm going to almost say Aurelion Sol is basically the strongest champion lore-wise in League of Legends, right? I know there's a little bit of a debate there with like Kindred and some other people, but You know what I mean? Like, I need to tell myself we're basically reading the most powerful champion's abilities here. Immortality. As a celestial, Aurelion Sol is immune to aging, disease, and is functionally immortal. Aurelion Sol is capable of flying across space by using a celestial dragon form and being attuned to the celestial realm. He has Stardust Breath, which is because of this, his celestial dragon physiology. Aurelion Sol can channel cosmic power into his mouth, breathing out as a powerful blast of stardust capable of obliterating enemies in starfire. He has celestial magic. Aurelion Sol is closely attuned to the celestial realm and has access to its magic, allowing him to create and manipulate the cosmos to his will. Unfortunately, these powers are strongly nullified by the golden crown given to him by the aspects. Despite this, Aurelion Sol has begun regaining some control over celestial magic, allowing him to create blasts of energy, miniature black holes, and entire living entities out of constellations. Oh, I just totally realized. I have no idea what his abilities were before this, but is like his updates to his abilities kind of going with his lore and the weakening of the hold that Targon has on him? Because that would kind of blow my mind if that's actually what's going on here, is his abilities became like kind of stronger in a sense because of the loosening grip of Targon. That's crazy. Maybe I'm making it up though. Stardust manipulation. Aurelion Sol can manipulate stardust, allowing him to coalesce it into entire stars. Aurelion Sol is so talented in creating stars that he practically forged every star in the universe with pristine detail and care. Along with that, he can manipulate stars to his own whim by making miniature star-like objects, causing supernovas at will, and even going as far as to drag entire stars down to crush his opponents. Right. Okay, so relations. A lot of it is they're giving me quotes that we're going to listen to, but they don't actually have specific relations. It's just doing little quotes, but we'll take a look here. So it says a quote, "What is this about siblings?" And that's from Swain. It says, "Aurelion Sol has several siblings in the sense that they are celestial dragons like him, including Invilius Vox and the Infinite Mind Splitter. The Immortal Fire may also be a sibling." So those are cards in Runeterra, or in Legends of Runeterra, that we are seeing little glimpses of here. Okay, they look really cool. This one looks like Moltres from Pokemon. Okay, he has also created several constellations, including the Charger, the Trickster. Yeah, we learned about these a little bit. The Messenger, the Scourge, the Serpent, and the Great Beyond. The Great Beyond is what Aurelion Sol considers his magnum opus, and he would like it to be the first to attack Mount Targon. That's a very cool looking star or constellation. Okay, and then his quote here says, "Twinkle, twinkle, little star, do you wonder what you are?" And it says he is fully aware of the existence of other celestial entities such as Bard and Soraka. Oh, Soraka's a celestial entity? I didn't realize that. Aurelion Sol hates the people of Targon and the aspects as they are the ones who enslaved him. Well, yeah. He hates all of Runeterra at this point. If he gets free, this dude's just going to wreak havoc. Maybe he'll only wreak havoc on Targon and the surrounding area, but I highly doubt it. Okay, Leona and Diana. You and Diana embody the same light. Typical Targon redundancy, Aurelion Sol. Aurelion Sol has disdain for both the Solari and Lunari, and by extension Leona and Diana. This is because he sees their divisions as pointless, since moonlight is merely reflected sunlight. Yeah, okay. And then Zoe, Whittle Space Doggy, you can beg for a treat anytime. And we've reacted to Zoe, and that's such a great quote. Aurelion Sol and Zoe are well acquainted. She is the only Targonian aspect that appears to offer him aid and protection from the aspect's wrath. However, he often gets frustrated by her childish behavior and her insistence on him being her pet space doggy. Yep. This was an interesting way of seeing like the relationships here, because we're getting like actual quotes. So we're like seeing where the source is kind of coming from. So that's actually kind of cool that they did it this way. Okay, and we have just a tiny bit of trivia here. It says when Aurelion Sol dies, he dissipates into a dragon-like constellation. This may indicate that celestial dragons such as himself and Invilius Vox are formed as constellations, as are normal celestials. As matter imitates the shape of greater energy, similar to how a logarithmic spiral is found in a nautilus shell in a galaxy, terrestrial dragons are shaped after their celestial counterparts, even though they have no bloodline connection. I have no idea what was just said there. I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, so when he dissipates, he turns into a dragon-like constellation. Got it. According to a Q&A with Riot about Aurelion Sol, it is mentioned that during his story's development, they had an idea that some of the celestial beings that Aurelion mentions were actually his sisters, whom control other aspects of space, such as gravity or dark matter. Whether or not this is still canon is unknown. Oh, that'd be kind of cool. So that was probably an initial idea. That's probably not happening anymore. They probably would have done it by now. But they probably, when they were making Aurelion Sol, they were going to go with this idea of that there's celestial dragon that, you know, controls the stars, and then one that controls gravity, and so on and so on. But they probably just were like, we can't have too many crazy beings like that. And then it says, narrative writer Jared Rosen rates him as the most knowledgeable being, known being in the universe, tied with Swain and ahead of Zoe. tied with Swain and ahead of Zoe. Now, I know that was mentioned in the Zoe fandom as well. All right, we have the Aurelion Sol Legends of Runeterra voice lines we're going to start off with here first from Skin
Each
Spotlight.
life, a rare jewel.
Then release me, Derek.
Ooh, yeah. If you're going to say that. True. Okay.
Nice rocks.
They're gems.
Boop.
Boop.
No, Bop!
This thing
Wait, what is happening?
makes humans look smart.
Trundle. Oh, wow.
What thing? Where? Hello.
Okay, they're going off the rails with Trundle and Aurelion Sol.
Let's rock. Me? I like clubbing.
Oh my.
All the world on one arrow.
And all the galaxies in one palm.
I like that.
Brom is
Okay,
on
Brom.
the top. And who is Brom?
Hey, he's a little curious, I guess. Or because he's curious because he talks about himself in
You
third
little
person.
pink chap.
Aurelion Sol's kind of fun, isn't he?
Spirit.
And adore and worship him. You get the idea.
Right.
Only I can endure the dragon's fury.
Oh, really?
We'll see about that.
I know
little
nothing about...
man.
Wow, he called Lee Sin a little man.
Hello, my darling.
I know nothing about Lee Sin, though.
Oh, go away, you insufferable bore.
He doesn't like
I'd
Vladimir,
never keep
clearly.
my guests waiting.
I'd never attend.
Wow,
I don't
great.
remember you at all.
Well, he's one of yours.
I've given up chasing this one.
The Trickster.
My difficult second album.
He's talking about them like they're
Charge on,
albums.
My horned fellow.
Okay, so now he's getting excited about
Must
this one.
make that star saddle.
Star Saddle.
Who's a good boy? Time for walkies, boy.
What is happening?
Oh, I am
The Scourge.
good, aren't I?
Okay, he's proud of this one.
A familiar face for you Runeterrans.
Oh, is it supposed to look like the
She's
Void?
almost as old as me. Almost.
Okay, so this is somebody that's possibly
Try
a sister,
keeping her
right?
down. Not my subtlest
Destroyer.
of creations.
Okay, another one he's proud of,
Sometimes
though.
you just need a galaxy destroyed.
The Destroyer.
Go forth and
Fused
slaughter.
Firebrand. What is a Fused Firebrand?
Make them pay for what they did to me.
Okay, well, apparently it's Aurelion Sol.
My magnum opus.
Right, okay, this is his best one.
Aren't you handsome?
It looks like him, doesn't it?
So
Little.
much for their pedestrian tricks.
The Infinite Mind Splitter. Isn't that supposed to be
You,
a
the
sibling?
Targonians can't play their games.
Dude, the voice
You
actor does a
will
great
dwarf
job.
All of this.
White Flame Protector.
Embrace your power, child. Make them fear.
Okay.
Must give you
Okay, another
more
Celestial?
fangs.
Or another constellation of
More
his.
courage than brawn, I'm afraid.
Well,
See you next time, Runeterra. You've been wonderful, as have I.
this is like Aurelion Sol
Victory
signing out of
today,
YouTube for the day.
freedom tomorrow.
Or his stream.
Well, this certainly isn't my fault. Honestly, who loses with a space dragon on their side?
He's calling out the player. That's great.
My, how they stare.
New round. Okay.
Now they'll pay attention.
That's cool that there's lines for a new
I do
round.
love an audience.
Of course you do.
I created galaxies faster than this. Oh, do get a move on.
That one's fun.
The cosmos will collapse eventually.
Yeah.
Your favorite
Okay,
star.
Diana.
I created it.
Yep.
Your stars are worthy attendants of the moon.
Hmm.
Dragon.
Okay, Tarek.
Fashion disaster.
Oh! Oh, okay.
Your favorite star.
Oh
I
my god, that
created it.
was insane.
As you were once created too. No
Okay. That was a
star
decent
should be
comeback.
bound.
That was okay.
Said the Targonian.
Ooh, yeah.
Your arrogance is impressive.
It
It
is.
is the least impressive thing about me.
Well, for me it is anyway.
Come, Guardian.
This is their end.
Oh, it speaks.
Aurelion.
Vilius
We
Vox.
start with Targon.
Oh yeah, they're in cahoots.
Enough stars. Now we forge destiny.
His voice is crazy.
A destiny born in starfire.
Okay, well, we know what's coming,
Shroud
boys
the-
and girls. We know what's coming.
The Star Forger
Herald of
himself.
Dragons.
You rang.
You rang.
The heavens diminish.
Dude, he's so
without
funny.
my
And he doesn't
attention.
even try, I feel like.
Such majesty.
All right, everybody, as far as I can tell, that was all of the voice lines for Aurelion Sol, at least in Legends of Runeterra. These were freaking great. I mean, I've listened to a few of the voice lines. So, like, I listened to the voice lines because we did, like, an initial reaction for Aurelion Sol already. But like I said, we haven't listened to the Runeterra ones, and we haven't listened to his special interactions. These were freaking insane. These were great, 10 out of 10, in my opinion. He's always so freaking snarky. He's so arrogant. He's so funny, though, too, that it's so good. My favorite one, as you guys could probably tell, was the one against Tarek, where he just literally calls him a fashion disaster. That one was so good. Another one that I really loved was the Trundle. For some reason, he has 3 lines with Trundle, but you know, him saying Trundle makes humans look really dumb, and you know, obviously we see Trundle just being kind of dumb in these voice lines. So these were all super good. And, you know, we got a little bit of lore with his constellations and what he thought of them, and then in Vilius Vox and what he's going to do. Clearly, they're going to come and take over and destroy Targon whenever he gets free. So that's really interesting. These are probably the most recent voice lines, too, unless they did a voice line update for him when they did a champion update to his abilities, but I doubt it. So these are probably the most recent voice lines that we actually have. So these are always fun. This was really good. I am curious to see what his special interactions have, though. All right, moment of truth, everybody. We have 18 minutes of special interactions with Aurelion Sol. Now, of course, these are 7 years old, so it looks like he's clearly doing a different ability here already off the bat. So these are going to be older, but this is what we have, and it's by Skin Spotlights.
Boop. Boop.
Oh, is that where the boop comes from that we got in Legends of Runeterra?
Boop.
Oh, that's really funny that he does that. Okay, great. Dragon. Oh. Is he just gonna, like, acknowledge the other dragon?
I did mean to call you back, but stars needed forging.
Huh. Ha 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 ha.
Low dragon. Unfitting of the name. You call yourself a dragon. You're low flame at best.
Low flame at best.
A dragon that still needs wings to fly. Keep trying.
I didn't even think
You'll
about that.
get there.
He doesn't have wings.
Terrestrial dragons. A study of flawed constitutions.
Enemy tower HP drops
Like
below
all things
30%.
crafted by mortals.
Okay, we're gonna get like some of these older kind of voice lines where he's like taking down a
Towers tend to
tower,
crumble when
wards, and
I'm
stuff
in
like
the
that.
vicinity. Nothing they build can endure like the celestial firmament. The architects of these towers misunderstand object permanence.
Okay, that's another way of putting it.
All towers fall. It's just what they do when I'm around.
It's just what they do. Destroy multiple towers.
How many must I knock down before they learn?
That's really cool that there's a different type of voice line for that, though. Kill using a star.
Wrong orbit, wrong time.
Okay.
Starstruck.
That's actually perfect. Okay, more.
The stars weep for you.
The
Just
stars weep
kidding.
for you.
I already forgot your name.
Oof.
My wish upon a star came true.
Okay, so now we're gonna have all these like little star, voice lines that he's gonna do, huh? Multi-kill,
The stars were not in their favor.
like that. That, for example.
I I guess their fate was written in the stars.
Okay. All right, Aurelion Sol. Now I'm getting tired of him. It's like when
Stars are best viewed from a distance.
it's like when somebody just does bad puns all the time.
Nice job just standing there.
Okay, well that's a good one. We like that one. Pentakill, okay.
That ought to keep them talking for the next century or so.
That's a good way of putting it. Quadra-kill, and okay, this is another penta. Killing another Aurelion
Cosmic
Sol.
Dragon 5. Everyone else, 0. Please take notes.
Please take notes. That's a good one. Why is Draven's head on these minions?
Well, that was easy.
Okay, he hit him with the that was easy. This is 7 years ago, so that was definitely used a lot back then, I feel like.
Another mass extinction.
Ooh.
So soon.
Okay. I like that voice line because it just makes sense for his character. First blood.
You may look forward to more of this.
Especially if he gets free. So wait a minute. I have a question actually because of the whole crown on his head, right? Like that's going to change his character completely when he gets free. Like, will they just totally get rid of the crown?
Never stop when you're on a roll.
I didn't think about that. Okay, this is Ace.
I shall inscribe this moment in the stars.
Like you do everything, right? Shut down.
With a lifespan as comically brief as yours, I suppose I can allow you to taste triumph at least once.
Right, because he has immortality. Gets focused, feeds.
Ah, the joys of lesser organisms rising up to slay their betters. If only they were aware of the impermanence of being, or the permanence of me.
Yep. Nothing's gonna get him to go away. As far as we can tell. Gets killed by Shyvana specifically. Okay.
Darling, you have but set my hearts free.
Now I know the only thing I know about Shyvana is she like can transform into a dragon or something. That's literally all I know. Oh right, with the older voice lines we got the ones where when they buy items.
Angle, I'm in.
As long as it's set at a jaunty angle.
Hats are always fashionable.
They don't do these voice lines anymore for characters, do they?
I tend to burn through footwear.
It seems like they kind of skipped out on doing that now.
My feet rarely touch the ground.
I was going to say, are we really going to give him shoes?
Ages. This thing has
We're out
been
of
around for
ages.
centuries tops.
Huh.
All things appreciate in value over time. Some things are simply better with age.
It's fair.
Been around for ages.
It depends.
So, almost new.
Almost new to him.
A snow globe? Perfect for my collect... to destroy you. Destroy you!
Okay, wait a minute. So Aurelion Sol collects snow globes?
Shiny, but it's no star.
Right.
A bit gaudy for my taste.
Gaudy.
But exceedingly useful.
Aurelion Sol using the word gaudy.
Time to slow things down a bit.
I assume that's what that item does.
Perfect for the bimillennial celestial masquerade ball.
Bimillennial.
Leandri's torment. My benefit.
Okay.
If Bard and Kindred can pull off
Oh.
wearing a mask, so can I.
Okay, we like a reference like that. We like that.
There are no echoes where I'm from.
That makes me wonder what Bard looks like.
But a shadow of sound.
I know this item because it's in TFT.
So many magic staves.
Okay, taunting
You
Ari.
aspire to be human.
He's like, why would you ever?
Darling, there are so many other variants on mediocrity.
Right. Okay,
I
Mumu.
am overwhelmed by an emotion when you are not around. It is called happiness.
Okay. We understand that without even reacting to a Mumu. Oh, Annie.
Mages are infants grasping at the machinery behind reality. At least you have a plausible excuse.
Okay. Okay. He appreciates Annie. Azir?
Your immortality is but a grain of sand in time's vast desert.
What does he mean by that?
You Ascended certainly know how to pick an animal totem.
That's true. They do. Bard, okay.
Pick a dimension, Bard. You're confusing them.
Pick a dimension.
Were you born this flat, or did you work at it?
Bard must not really have a good personality. Or an exciting one.
The funnier the hat, the greater the prestige.
Yeah,
right?
old Caitlyn looks a little weird, I'll be honest. Celestial skins.
Runeterra. Am I right?
Okay. That's kind of a cool skin. Diana?
It is always a moon's role to envy the stars.
We should probably get to Diana and Leona at some point, but I don't know if they have recent
You
voice
and
lines.
Leona embody the same light.
Oh, we heard this one.
Typical Targon redundancy.
Okay. Yeah, that one's a little bit mentioned in the Runeterra voice lines.
You're out of your league.
Okay, these are specifically Dragon Slayer skins. Okay, Dragon Trainer. So he has a reaction to anything dragon
Come
related.
on, have a little self-respect.
Oof. Draven. Specifically Draven.
You would make an interesting dragon.
Because he's arrogant like you, right? That's why. Dunkmaster Darius.
If dunking is the apex of this primitive sport, then I am the queen of space.
Aurelion Sol, Queen of Space. Echo.
Made a mistake? Better rewind and repeat until you achieve mediocrity.
Dang, calling Echo mediocre. Oh god, old fiddlesticks.
Fear. Generic.
Wow. He's got a response for everybody, doesn't he?
Idealism. Hilariously outdated.
Yeah, everybody likes to make fun of Garen. Nar? I haven't seen a Nar reaction.
Cute.
Oh, okay. He finds Rage to be cute. Or Nar. Graves?
Gunpowder and metal sticks. Enchanting.
Interesting that he finds that enchanting.
Ah, mankind. Ever fumbling from one brink of cataclysm to the next.
That's true. He's not wrong, guys. I mean, let's be honest.
Humanity. Surprisingly adept in the art of wrestling survival from the clutches of extinction.
Well, that's what we're known for, right? We're very good at
As far
it.
as fauna goes, humans strike a firm middle.
He did not just call humans mid. Lowy.
You do not understand your god, Ilawi.
A lot of mention about Alawi and reactions, or like, you know, voice lines with Alawi, but we haven't reacted to
I've
Alawi yet.
seen the main act. You're only a third-rate cover band.
A cover band, not even a real band.
Imagine what you could do with a larger canvas.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm gonna like this reaction with Jin. Jin's always an interesting character. Oh, okay, that's it.
Life is short. Go crazy once in a while. I get it.
He's like, you do you, Jinx. All right, we like that. That was a good one. Leona, okay.
The sun. This sun.
He's like, this one?
Oh, darling.
There's much better.
You and Diana embody the same light.
Okay, we're getting the same voice line.
Typical Targon redundancy.
Makes sense that he would do it for both of them. It's true, it's true. Lux, okay.
All dazzle, no brilliance.
That's kind of Lux in a nutshell, isn't it? Malphite, okay.
There is a saying on this planet, dumb as a rock. It's not a compliment.
I don't need to know anything about Malphite's character to understand that one.
You are going to kill me? Just like that?
Oh, now we making fun of what Misfortune wears. Got it.
I could teach an old dog millions of new tricks, but I simply don't like you, Nasus.
Okay. All right. Got a little dog voice line in there.
Bravo,
Calling him a
Nasus.
dog.
You've ascended yourself into a dog. Now fetch me something more interesting.
Okay. He must really not like when Zoe calls him Space Doggy then, huh?
Your fate was sealed the moment you picked up Targon's spear.
Meaning you're gonna die. You were meant to die. Yeah. Ramus.
Are
I haven't
you
seen that.
burdened by your own monotony? Because I am.
Don't really understand that character very much. Probably hasn't been touched in a while.
That whole
Connect him.
practice of ascension is adorably amusing. Like a kitten trying to walk upright.
That's kind of adorable, yeah. Okay, Rise.
True magic is beyond language. Writing merely butchers the intent.
Huh. Okay.
Ah, Rise. I see you've brought paper to take notes.
You did say to take notes. Earlier.
Magic tattoos? Where did you get those, Magic Prison? Oh.
Wait, did he actually go to Magic Prison or something? I don't know.
Medium
All right,
flame.
Shyvana.
And that is me being generous.
Okay. Calling her mid, basically.
Almost interesting. Almost.
You guys will have to let me know kind of what the connection there is with Shyvana and her being a dragon and like Aurelion Sol and this whole
Dragon's
thing.
loyalty is a priceless gift. Do not waste it in the service of fools.
I believe if I'm correct, she hasn't been updated in a very long
Unfitting
time.
of the draconic lineage.
The draconic lineage. Okay. So yeah, so maybe there hasn't been an update to her, but let me know about Shyvana a little bit. Okay, Soraka.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Do you wonder what you are?
Okay, Soraka's been a recommendation. Has she been updated at all lately?
The heavens drag on endlessly.
All right, Tom Kench, we know about
much
you.
like a conversation with you.
I can see that. Champions from Targon, okay.
The aspect of Targon. Sparks masquerading as lightning.
He's calling them just sparks, not even lightning.
I will cauterize Targon with starfire.
I believe you honestly will, if he gets freed. Okay. Oh, what is that
You're
skin?
an aspect. Let me guess. Tackiness.
The aspect of tackiness. Nice. Tryndamere.
Galaxies exist by my will. But yes, that is certainly an impressive sword.
Okay. He actually didn't say anything bad about Tryndamere. He's like, nice sword. Bye.
Punching.
Uh-huh. Okay. That's it? Anything else?
You are going to punch a star dragon. Good luck with that.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work, Vi. Vladimir, okay.
Blood magic. How tragically primitive.
Primitive, he's calling it. Okay. So he knows it's old, but it's just primitive. Zach.
I empathize with your life as a weapon, but have a little backbone.
Okay, come on. Don't do that to Zach. I know nothing about this man, but of course he can't have a backbone.
You bend time the way a child folds origami. Cute, but nothing special.
Wow, the way he put Zillion's his power in that sense, that's kind of crazy. Okay, enter the enemy base.
May I enter? Just joking. Star dragons don't need permission.
Right, much like vampires need permission. That's really funny. I like that. Is that all we get? Okay, these were great. Even for being a little bit like older, you could kind of tell they were a bit older. You could tell it was kind of like an older Skin Spotlights video because they've kind of refined their videos and made them a little bit more like faster paced and whatnot. But anyways, regardless of that, These voice lines were very good, and especially the fact that we got so many different types of voice lines. So we were kind of in the beginning, we were getting all the ones around his, okay, so this is clearly an old ability. And so actually what I have a question about is, since he no longer has the ability where he has like the stars around him, does he still get those voice lines in game? Or when they did his update recently, were those like kind of taken out because they no longer make sense? I guess I could see some of them still just randomly making sense in here, like him just, you know, talking about stars or doing the little puns, like my wish upon a star came true, like that one right there. Like you could still use that, I guess, for any of his abilities and still just put it in there randomly. But I kind of wonder if when they did his update, did they like take out those voice lines? One of the best parts about Aurelion Sol, or these voice lines in general, in my opinion, is, again, I always love when a character has a lot of other voice lines with other champions. And Aurelion Sol certainly had, like, we had at least maybe like 15 to 20 champions in here that he was able to react to or have an interaction with. And I think that's the better thing for Riot to do. And it doesn't seem like they do that as much anymore. And I guess maybe they're probably changing it to where they'll only have voice lines with another champion if they actually have some sort of relationship with them or something, right? I guess with Aurelion Sol, though, it kind of makes sense, as him being a Celestial and him being who he is. He kind of can just comment on whoever, because he can kind of be wherever and see whoever or whatever, right? So it kind of makes more sense for him to be able to have all these voice lines with all these different people. So I truly understand this. But yeah, you guys let me know if Riot lately hasn't been like kind of putting voice lines with other champions, like just two random champions together, just because it's not like no relationship between them, right? And of course, the thing that shines the most for Aurelion Sol, his arrogance and his humor, his comebacks, like all of that. Like he's so good at just trash talking. He's so good at being arrogant, and he's so good at being funny. Like he's obviously a mean dude for sure, but like it's funny. And to be honest with you, I don't even think the guy's trying to be funny on purpose. The dude is just like super funny regardless, right? I especially love that we obviously got a lot of you know, trash talk with the Targonians. So again, that's been a constant, you know. So if you can think of Aurelion Sol for his voice lines, you're gonna think of arrogance, you're gonna think of stars, and you're gonna think of his hatred towards the Targonians, right? I did love, though, he trash talked individual champions. I thought that was really fun. I think still one of my favorite ones was when we were reacting to the Legends of Runeterra ones, when he says to Tarek that he is a fashion disaster. I thought that was great. He also called him an aspect of tackiness in this. So really hating on Targonians in this one. There's a couple of them in here, though, guys, that you will have to give me like an idea of what he's referencing if there's something that I totally didn't understand. Like for Rise, this part here where it says magic prison, was Rise ever in a magic prison? I actually have no idea. I don't know Rise's lore whatsoever. So please let me know in the comments, like anything in these voice lines, even in the Legends of Runeterra ones, if I did miss anything. Let me know what we missed and anything that I need to understand. All right, as always, folks, I mean, Aurelion Sol was great. He is definitely one of the better champions in Runeterra to react to, because he has a lot of content to him. And again, I always like to talk about where these champions might go in the future. And of course, it's pretty obvious where his lore might go in the future if Riot ever touches this character again. Basically, him becoming free from Targon. Or, I mean, something else could happen, right, with Aurelion Sol. Maybe he gets trapped even further or something. Or maybe he somehow gets free, but then some big event happens and he can't take out Targon because he actually needs to help the world of Runeterra. You know what I mean? Anything could happen with this champion. But I think the major thing that could happen with him is, of course, you know, he gets free from the Targon hold, and then he starts wreaking havoc on all of Mount Targon, and then we just don't have Mount Targon anymore. But again, I don't think that's something that Riot would just do anytime in the near future. I mentioned that I think they would do that in the MMO game whenever that actually comes out. They may make it like as an event or something in that game. All right, I also want to hear from you guys about the update that came out for him a couple of months ago, I guess maybe like 7 or 8 months ago. Just let me know how everybody's like take is on that, how everybody's been feeling about the update to Aurelion Sol. I know they don't update champions, like they update them, but they don't update them too often. So I do want to hear from you guys about the update and how that's going over. All right, everybody, I appreciate your support on the video, and I hope you leave a like, as well as check out the other reactions that we do have on the channel, and consider subscribing as well. We have a bunch of other reactions you can check out. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.